Well, good morning. Welcome back to the channel. As you can see behind us, that's some fall colors. So we are certainly not in Hawaii, and it's about 40 plus degrees cooler. So we are on our way south. We're back in the States. We've already left Vermont. We're actually down in southern New York, in the Binghamton, New York area. And we were headed to somewhere really cool today that we've been to before on the channel, but we didn't get to finish. So there's your clue. Let's get on our way.
Welcome to Pennsylvania.
Well, as you guys seen in the clips, we have made it to Gettysburg. We're actually staying at a harvest house here, the only one in Gettysburg, called Mason-Dixon Distillery. But we got here late, so they had like 10 minutes till they were closing. They have a full restaurant and everything, but we didn't want to bug the kitchen. They actually left it open for us, but we didn't want to make those guys stay and wait. Yeah. But we ended up, wherever it is, I don't know where Brittany put it, ended up buying a bottle of corn whiskey. So I can share this with our friend Scott. Here it is. Corn whiskey, really unique, you know, see-through. Definitely a unique way of doing whiskey. So I'm going to share that with our friend Scott. Go Small, Live Large is his channel when we finally meet up with him, probably down in Florida area some point. That's a sticker that we're going to throw on the Berkey. But we are going to just relax. Brittany actually has a cold, so just make some food, relax, and then tomorrow we're gonna finish off Gettysburg. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This may look familiar if you've been following our channel. We were with our friend Danny here in Gettysburg last year, but we didn't get to finish because we were kind of in a mad rush to our destination. So now we are finishing it off. So we hope you guys enjoy a visit with us.
So if you weren't following us last year when we were here, we've been using the Action Audio Tour to go all through Gettysburg and learn a lot about the history. So we just stopped at our next spot where we didn't get to go last year when we were here, and that is Spangler Spring. And this actually had water flowing through it at one point, and both the Union and the Confederate soldiers used this during this battle.
So behind us is Culp's Hill, and we're gonna climb up to the top and give you guys a view of basically the whole battlefield from what the audio tape said. So let's get up there and check this out. Way over there you can see the cemetery. Probably a little shaky, got it zoomed in pretty far, but that's it. So we're now here standing on Cemetery Ridge, and this is where Pickett's charge took place. Many of you probably know that name or are familiar with it, but Confederate forces came up over here through this field and actually tried to attack Union forces who had higher grounds up here. Anybody that has any idea of battles or war or just strategy in general knows you don't attack higher grounds, but they tried, laid tons of cannon fire down, and they did some damage, but ultimately when they got up to this ridge right here, Cemetery Ridge, hence the name, this wall you can see kind of marks it, the stone wall behind us, they were all just slaughtered, what you'd think. Did not work out well for them, to say the least, and Union troops succeeded here. So right here is actually where General Armstead, who was leading the charge on the Confederate side, actually fell. And he has a pretty famous saying, I'll throw it up here on the screen. as he was going up over this ridge, over this wall right here, that he said to his men. And well, unfortunately, he was on the end of receiving what he was saying in his famous saying. So here's an up close to that stone wall we've been pointing out. And this is where Armstead came across, actually stood up, put his hat up on his sword, and made his famous quote that he unfortunately was the bearer of the bad news on that quote. So beautiful out here, considering what's happened here. It's a very strange feeling. It's beautiful, amazing what they've done with all these statues in memory of the soldiers that fell here, but definitely a kind of a soulless place, to say the least. So, like we said in our last video when we were at Gettysburg, but if you're new here, you may have not caught it, I would definitely recommend going back and watching that. We'll put it down in the description. Only like 1/3 of the soldiers that were actually killed at Gettysburg was because of battle. Most of it was because of disease and infection. Yep. Back then, obviously, medical treatments and advancements were not as good as they are today.
They didn't know they needed to clean their wounds with something, which is crazy to think about now, but they really had no idea.
Yeah. So what do you think their kind of answer was for wounds of the limbs? So say you get hit in the leg or the arm. Give you a second. Drop it in the comments if you know the answer. So, like Brittany said, no idea of cleaning wounds. No alcohol use, no other kind of treatments. Infections would set in. So before they would set in, the doctors would rush and amputate that limb. That was their only course of action. Seriously.
And your anesthetic was a swig of whiskey.
So you better swig that whiskey hard.
And the stick that you got to chomp on.
Yeah, that's rough. So I can't imagine the thought of these young men. They don't even nick me toe because you're losing a foot. Yeah, so there's that bit of info. So just like last time, we're not going to show you guys everything. You need to come here and experience it for yourself. It's one of those places, us showing things kind of gives you a taste for it and piques your interest, but we want you to come here just because you have to actually be standing here. This is just, you're standing in the spot where thousands of men died, and civilian women that were helping out. A lot of them died here too. And you just got to feel the history, because Brittany was just talking about how, imagine if you believe in ghosts and that kind of thing, the activity that has to be here. Because I've personally actually stayed here before I knew Brittany, and I slept in a parking lot and walked some of these fields at night, and it was weird, to say the least. So it's definitely a feeling you get. It's just kind of a little creepy at night. So you know some stuff's happened here, and it's definitely one of the most well-preserved, as Brittany said, locations of history. I mean, you don't really get this everywhere, so it's special. So if you ever get a chance, please come out to Gettysburg. So we're now here at Gettysburg National Cemetery, speaking quietly. The cemetery's right over here, and obviously want to pay respect. This is where about 3,500 Union soldiers have been laid to rest. This is where they are buried. And during the battles of Gettysburg, there was around 23,000 Union soldiers that lost their life, 25,000 Confederate soldiers. So those numbers are pretty astronomical. So those numbers include people that were not only just, killed in battle from their wounds, but also that are missing. So they could have ran off, some of them. Some of them, they could have just never discovered the bodies. So that's the numbers they've came up with. And when I just looked it up, it actually said it's more like 28,000 Confederates. So a little bit higher than what our audio book told us.
And right behind us, this is actually where Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address, and that was on November 19th, 1863, and it wasn't even 4 minutes long, they said.
Well, everybody, Brittany's looking for coffee. What a surprise. We actually, when we left here last time, we stayed past when we should have because we were on time constraints to get somewhere. But we were actually only 3 stops from the end of the audio tour from seeing everything. So the cemetery was the finish mark. Little round top, still closed. Really wanted to see that. We couldn't see that last year. It was a year ago when we were here. Still closed till the end of the year. So fortunately not going to be able to check out that and a few more locations. So I guess this kind of concludes our time in Gettysburg. We're going to get coffee. We got to get some water. We're almost empty. And we're going to be headed towards Kentucky. Well, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee. So actually our next stop is West Virginia. We have a really cool spot there to check out. So I guess the journey continues. So the coffee has been acquired, and we pulled over at a gas station. We're making some lunch. Look at this. We got some sub rolls, got all our fixings.
But this is the real gem right here.
Yep, the dressing. Need the sub dressing. Gonna eat these up, and then continue on the road towards West Virginia.
We made it to the truck stop. Neil's getting us all hooked up to the water now because we were down to 16%. Such a good husband, always doing this stuff for us.
So we ended up actually not only filling, but we actually dumped our tank and dumped our cassette toilet. We just dumped our cassette toilet yesterday, but we figured might as well. We're here. It's $10 to use the dump station, but the water is free. So if you only have to do water, no worries. Well, guys, we found home for the night. It's pretty nice. Overlander. If you're not using it and you're in RV or van life or even tent life, whatever, because there's a tent right by us, it's the way to go because we were going to stay at a rest stop.
And now we're shocked in a really good way.
Yeah, we're at the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal Little Tunnel Way.
It's a National Historical Park, and this is mile 124.1, so I guess this is part of a huge canal.
And you're allowed to camp here. The park does close sunset to sunrise, but it says camping and fires in designated area.
Yep.
So you can stay here. It's on Overlander, verified. So we're good. We got some vault toilets behind us, some pit toilets. Pretty nice. So here's where we'll call home for the evening. We do have a train in the distance. That's the only noise, and got the river right here. So they even have some picnic tables, some little fire charcoal grills, and the river. So we're still debating on what we're going to cook for dinner. We had those subs pretty late. Had them right around 3 p.m. So not sure what we're going to cook. If it's going to be something easy or something extravagant. If it's something extravagant, I'll pick up the camera and show you guys. Otherwise, we're going to just enjoy this spot for the evening, and we'll catch you guys in the morning.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know about to see.